Hi, everyone. Hope you've enjoyed a good long weekend for Independence Day and got to see some fireworks and hopefully grilled out and saw your family for a little while. I think that most of the people in my neighborhood most have spent their stimulus check on fireworks because the fireworks from 8 until midnight were pretty much solid. It was amazing all around the neighborhood, and the city I live in actually puts in a fireworks show each year, about 30 or 45 minutes worth of good fireworks you can see. And so I saw that and then sat out in the front yard for a little while in a chair and just watched all around me. It was really cool. I like fireworks. Some of those were a little close for comfort, but it was a lot of fun. And I wound up coming up with something, some sort of a sickness as of last Thursday. I've had migraine headaches and ears ringing. And anyway, I'm hoping it's not attributed to COVID, but I'll find out in the coming days. I'm going to go have the test done. And anyway, not going to go there. If it is COVID, I'll just, keep taking elderberry and keep taking some extra vitamins and doing the best I can to drink lots of water and get some rest. Hopefully just get past it. I mean, that's the best I can do is keep that positive outlook on that too. So anyway, I want to talk just a little bit today about vulnerability. So the generation I was raised in, you have to remember, men were looked at as Tim the Tool Man Taylor. That generation, rub some dirt in it, get over it, grow up, you got it, you'll figure it out. That sort of philosophy, if you will. To me, it's not a healthy philosophy to have that way because men and women both deal with emotions. Some big emotions, some small emotions, some deal with more emotions than others. Some, heart on sleeve like me, emotions may feel a lot bigger. And some, they don't feel emotions very strongly. Not to say that they don't feel, they just may not feel emotions as strongly as others. The fact is that we all have emotions, so we all deal with different things. Vulnerability aspect of that one, as a kid, I didn't see a lot of older men or even, middle-aged men when I was younger. I didn't see a lot of that being shared back and forth and people talking about their issues and talking about what they're going through and saying, hey, can you help me? Or, hey, I'm going through this. I didn't see it. And the more I would share my emotions, the more I felt like they were really not validated, to be honest, from, friendships and just different people in my life. And so I just stuffed it down. A lot of times I would just close the door. You wouldn't know I was dealing with things. You wouldn't know I was struggling with this, that, and the other because I just didn't share it. I mean, I kept it to myself. I was very quiet. People just thought I was, quiet and never had anything to say to people or thought I was just, uppity. But I mean, I'm an introvert. I just don't always have a ton to say. But when I do, typically it's something important to me. It's something that's meaningful to my heart. So when it comes to this, I just didn't realize you really need to put effort into it in order to actually be vulnerable to somebody and being willing to let them see that they can be vulnerable to you too. I mean, as men specifically, and I won't just say only men, obviously there are men and women who probably feel the same way. Like your emotions haven't been validated and, you feel like you can't have that emotion and you can't share those things and that you shouldn't feel that way. And I mean, the fact is any emotion that you have, it is validated. I mean, any emotion that you have, it's justified. It's an emotion. It's something that we all have to process. In the very beginning, a lot of times people tend to get mad about things. So this person did this to me, or this person said that, or this person acted in this way, and it hurt my feelings. We have to be really careful who we share with because when we go share and we're sharing it like this and we're really angry and we're gritting our teeth and we're saying things really mean and mad about this other person, the people that we're telling to are going to have a really hard time looking back at the person you just talked so negatively about. Like it happens and it makes it really hard. It can hurt friendships. It can hurt relationships. And we really have to be careful with who we share with. But a counselor, a preacher, a close friend who understands that confidentiality is key. Communication and confidentiality, like those are two big pieces to friendships. And that's something that, we have to be open for. Now, obviously, if someone says, hey, I'm thinking about committing suicide or, hey, I'm really dealing with these things, we have to be willing to tell them, look, seek a counselor or go talk to a preacher, get the help that you need. I'm willing to stand beside you and help you through it, but you need to get the help that you need to get. Like there's times that we have to understand when to say you need more help than I can provide you with. So being open and being vulnerable, we've got to be willing to say, hey, there's way too much on my shoulders. My plate is really, really full and I just can't juggle everything anymore. Like things are falling off the top of the plate. It's just too much for me. I need help. And we've got to be willing to share with people, to seek that wise counsel, because others may say, hey, this is something I've dealt with before, and this is how you deal with it. Or this is something that I've gone through, and this is how I overcame it. Or, I still struggle with this. to see that you're not just on your own little island, but that other people can relate to you. That is so huge when it comes to healing, is to know that you're not on this journey alone and that you're not dealing with things by yourself, but that there are others out there who care for you and care about you. So sharing and being vulnerable is very important. On the flip side of this, when you're in relationships or you've got friendships and things are bothering you about it, I mean, you've got to be willing to be open and share it with that person. We talked about forgiveness on one of those videos, I guess 2 of them. And we talk about how specifically you've got to be willing to forgive people. But the fact is that if someone offends you, you've got to go to them first. You've got to talk to the person. Try to do your best to make it right. That is one of the most important things in any sort of friendship, relationship, etc., etc. You have to be willing to go to that person to say, hey, these things are bothering me. You did this and it offended me. This hurt my feelings. This is really aggravating me. I'm really mad about this, or I'm really upset about this. Anything that we don't share with others and we just expect them to know is something that the other person's not going to understand why you're mad at them or why you're sad or why you're frustrated with them if you don't share it with them and tell them. You always have to be willing to share. The times that I held things in and I held my emotions in and didn't speak it to someone, didn't speak it to a friend or to someone I was dating, if I just held it in and never said anything, they wouldn't know why I was so frustrated. It's important to always be willing to be open with people. Hey, these things are really bothering me. It's too much on my plate. I can't handle all of this. That is vulnerable. That's something that not everyone is going to feel so comfortable to be. Not everyone is going to want to be vulnerable because sometimes it's just too much. And yes, there are times that you'll see people share their stories on LinkedIn or on Facebook and on other social media places, and they'll say, hey, look, this is where I've been, and this is where I've came from, and this is what I accomplished and overcame. And sometimes it is people saying, I did all these things, and now I'm here, so buy this product from me, or come and purchase my services, or do this and that and the other, and they're doing that as a sales technique. I completely understand that some people do that, but I hope that it's understood that everything I do is out of authenticity and out of being real and sharing these things with you because I hope that it helps you. I have nothing to gain from this except the healing it provides me with. It's just something that I hope that I can always share and encourage. So that's my encouragement today, again, is be vulnerable with the people that you're closest to and be willing to share things with them. Be careful who you share with and how you share it, how your voice is, your tone, your attitude. And just be willing to be open. You never know the other men or women in your life that you could share these things with, and all of a sudden they're like, hey, I dealt with that too. And you have a conversation and encourage somebody. They may could encourage you. You just never know until you're willing to be vulnerable and open about those conversations. More to come on this next week from a different perspective. So hope you have a great week. Thanks for listening.